Worth, Vivian Leigh, Ava Gardner.
What's the hardest thing you've ever had to give up?
Ever heard of Hollywood's most twisted family secrets? You won't believe the shocking relationships these celebrities kept hidden from the public eye. Stay tuned, because things are about to get seriously awkward. Number 10, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laughed at love 'cause I thought it was funny.
Imagine marrying your 13-year-old cousin and thinking nothing could go wrong. Jerry Lee Lewis was about to conquer the rock and roll world until his controversial marriage took center stage instead of his music. His shocking decisions sent his career crashing down faster than anyone could have imagined. Jerry Lee Lewis had been warned ahead of his British tour in May of 1958 that he shouldn't take his new wife to the UK, but he didn't listen. He couldn't see any problem with bringing her with him on the road. Lewis was one of the few who saw things so simply. In the eyes of others, there were several issues. First, Myra Gale Brown had been just 13 years old when they got married on December the 12th, 1957. Second, she was his cousin and the daughter of his bassist, J.W. Brown. She was also his third wife, and their marriage had taken place before Lewis's second divorce had been finalized. And that second marriage had also taken place before his previous one was terminated. Lewis and his entourage arrived at London's Heathrow Airport as one of the first American stars to make the journey, and many of them expected great things. Elvis Presley had recently joined the army, so the way was clear for Lewis to claim the rock and roll crown. All those hopes were smashed when British journalist Ray Berry, who was patrolling the airport, asked a simple question of Myra: "How old are you?" She replied honestly, since she hadn't been given any advice about how to treat reporters, saying she was the wife of Jerry Lee Lewis. Within days, the British tour had been cancelled, and within weeks the rising star would be appearing for $250 in bars and clubs instead of the $10,000 big shows he'd been playing before the scandal. Radio stations stopped playing his songs. Former friends abandoned him, and Myra later said she'd never shaken off the Jerry Lee Lewis's child bride prefix to her name. Lewis would need a decade to rebuild his career. There were a handful of rock and roll successes, but Lewis didn't hit his commercial stride again until he became a country artist in 1968. He remained bewildered about what he'd done wrong, though the fact that Myra had originally been said to be 15 rather than 13 suggests someone, somewhere, thought there was a problem. "I plumb married the girl, didn't I?" Lewis said to one reporter. The newlyweds had moved in with her parents, and surely that was another indicator that everything was above board. They also staged a second marriage ceremony to clear up the divorce doubts. Didn't that stand for something? The marriage ended in 1970, though, but the couple remained in contact. Lewis's seventh wife, by the way, was formerly married to Myra's brother. They had 2 children, daughter Phoebe and son Steve, who died at the age of 3, tragically. Number 9, Angelina Jolie and James Haven.
To be trained something new at this time in my life, and something that's such a beautiful art form.
And
You probably remember the Oscar kiss that left everyone talking. Angelina Jolie and her brother James Haven stunned the world with a moment that sparked rumors and endless speculation. The unusual public display between the siblings became a scandal that still haunts their reputation today. We all remember that kiss. It was the 2000 Oscars, and Angelina had brought her brother, James Haven, as her date. While being interviewed on the red carpet, the siblings, related by blood, shared a much longer than comfortable kiss on the mouth. Granted, no tongues were used that we could tell, but it still ignited speculation that there was something more than simple sibling love going on between the two. In 2007, James told the Daily Mail that he finds trouble in love because Angie, the perfect woman, is already in his life. Now, we all know Angie as the pacifist mother of 19, or thereabouts, but no matter how many kids she has or causes she supports, burned in our memories forever will be that disturbing PDA. Number 8, Debbie Reynolds.
I'm sing and dance and carry on and act silly till I just kick it like I told you.
Not long ago, Debbie...
Hollywood friendships often turn into something more sinister, and that's exactly what happened between Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor. The two were best friends, until an unexpected affair led to betrayal and heartbreak. This scandal rocked Hollywood and left deep scars. Debbie Reynolds befriended Elizabeth Taylor early in her career, and when they were married to Eddie Fisher and Mike Todd, respectively, they were often spotted on double dates together. However, a year into Elizabeth and Mike's marriage, he unexpectedly died in a plane crash. Soon after, she began an affair with Eddie, who ultimately divorced Debbie and married Elizabeth on the same day. Elizabeth and Eddie were married from 1959 to 1964. In 1966, when both of the women were remarried, they unexpectedly crossed paths on a cruise ship. Debbie told HuffPost, "We got on the same boat to go to Europe, the Queen Elizabeth. I sent a note to her, and she sent a note to me in passing, and then we had dinner together. She was married to Richard Burton by then. I had been remarried at that point, and we just said, let's call it a day. And we got smashed, and we had a great evening, and stayed friends ever since." They even co-starred in These Old Broads in 2001. Number 7, Denise Richards.
Nervous, and 2 weeks before I started to panic, like, what am I thinking? And then when I got to the photo shoot.
Friendships can turn into rivalry when love is involved. Denise Richards and Heather Locklear were once close friends until Denise started dating Heather's ex-husband. What happened next tore their friendship apart and led to a scandal that made headlines. Heather Locklear and Denise Richards were close friends until Denise began dating Richie Sambora shortly after he and Heather filed for divorce. Heather and Richie got married in 1994, then filed for divorce in 2006. During their marriage, they became friends with Denise and her then-husband Charlie Sheen, because Heather and Charlie co-starred on Spin City for several years. However, Denise and Charlie were also going through a high-profile divorce in 2006, which is something she and Richie bonded over. She told people, "My mother has cancer and Richie's father has cancer. It's hard. Thank God Richie and I have each other, not only to go through divorce, but to go through both our parents being ill." She also denied that she'd broken up her friend's marriage, telling Entertainment Tonight, "We didn't meddle in marriages and anything like that." She also said, "The thing with Heather that's been hard, you can't help who you fall for, and that friendship, unfortunately, was done and wasn't salvageable."
Tired of expensive, low-effort script writers for your YouTube channel? Autoscriptor AI is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscriptor AI helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscriptor AI creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscriptor AI transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now.
She wasn't my best friend. She was a close friend in the last couple of years. I hadn't known her my whole life. It's been tough having people think that I'm such a crappy friend. Denise and Richie reportedly broke up in 2012. Number 6, Kevin Bacon.
Asked to do we always have opinions about each other's stuff. Always. But
This Hollywood scandal might seem like a bit of a stretch, but it still counts. Kevin Bacon and his wife, Kyra Sedgwick, are happily married, but they're also 9th cousins. When the truth came out, it left fans more than a little shocked. Now that I think of it, is that why they call it 6 degrees of separation? If you don't know what I mean, there's an assumption that anyone involved in the Hollywood film industry can be linked through their film roles to actor Kevin Bacon within 6 steps. The game's name is a reference to 6 degrees of separation, a concept that posits that any two people on Earth are 6 or fewer acquaintance links apart. Kevin Bacon and his wife, Kyra Sedgwick, are actually 9th cousins. Number 5, Greta Scacchi.
My name's Greta Scacchi, and I'm an actress. I've been acting since...
Imagine falling in love with someone your family would never approve of because he's your first cousin? Well, Greta Scacchi's relationship with her cousin shocked not only her family, but the entire world. The backlash was intense, but she didn't let it stop her. When Greta Scacchi started dating her first cousin, it caused a rift in the family, with her Italian father devastated at his daughter going into a relationship with his sister's son. The explosion, especially from the Italian branch of Scacchi's family, was inevitable. My dad Luca was deeply offended and quite devastated. He was very angry, Milan-born Scacchi said. Several elderly uncles were equally outspoken in their condemnation, declaring the relationship with Mantegazza unacceptable and against the Catholic Church. Even Scacchi's then 5-year-old daughter, Leila, whose father is the Italian-American actor and Law & Order criminal intent star Vincent D'Onofrio, was furious, though her objections were more about having to share her mother's affections for the first time. For several months, the secret relationship between Scacchi and Carlo Mantegazza had been her own private illicit thrill, Mail Online in the UK reports. But having reached the first trimester of her pregnancy, Scacchi, who had moved with her family to Perth, Australia in 1975, knew she had to tell about the baby and who the father was. More than a decade on, and Greta says that she still can't believe some people continue to react negatively to the fact that she and Mantegazza, the father of her 12-year-old son, Matteo, are first cousins. Her father's sister is Mantegao's mother, by the way. We were hounded by the media, and a lot of nasty stuff has been written about me as a result, she said. But despite that, she still settled down with Carlo Mantegazza, and in 1997 they even had a child, Matteo. It's not been an easy road, but I have no real regrets over the choices I've made, she said. The status of their relationship has remained a closely guarded secret, primarily owing to the notoriously private White Mischief star never discussing her personal life. However, it can be revealed that the actress and the man she once called her rock actually split up over a decade ago. They separated 12 years ago, her representative tells me, and a source close to the star confirms the breakup, but was keen to stress it was all very amicable. Number 4, Bobbi Kristina Brown. Imagine the media spotlight turning your life upside down while grieving for your superstar mother. But what shocked people most was Bobbi Kristina Brown's relationship with someone who was practically her brother. This scandal pushed the boundaries of what's acceptable and raised eyebrows everywhere. In the aftermath of Whitney Houston's passing, Bobbi Kristina Brown, Whitney's daughter, has become a household name and a staple on tabloid covers everywhere. But with constant coverage of Bobbi Kristina, initially focusing on her grief-stricken reactions to her mother's untimely death, details of her life have inevitably surfaced. Now, under the media spotlight, Bobbi Kristina is making headlines not just as Whitney Houston's daughter anymore, but as a woman engaging in a relationship some might say is bordering on incest. The man in the relationship is Bobbi Kristina's pseudo-brother, Nick Gordon, who, after his mother was unable to care for him, was unofficially adopted by Whitney Houston. Recently, Bobbi Kristina was seen wearing an engagement ring. Word on the street is that it was given to her by Nick after the couple revealed to the world via Twitter that they are dating. Well, this may be true love. The idea of Bobbi Kristina and Nick in a sexual relationship is a little bit icky. It's true, he is not blood-related, nor is he legally bound to Bobbi Kristina as her brother. However, his relationship with the family obviously extends beyond your basic family friend. In fact, Sissy Houston, Bobbi Kristina's grandmother, apparently said that what they're doing is incestuous. There have been a number of relationships in Hollywood that have teetered on that fine line between generally uncomfortable and full-blown incest. Thankfully, they're few and far between, but that doesn't mean they go unnoticed. Here are some Hollywood relationships from different points of the make-us-squirmy spectrum. Number 3, John Phillips.
There's a lot of yes people around people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of access. But I think that even if,
When the darkest family secrets come to life, they can tear families apart. The Phillips family hid a scandal that left the world horrified. Mackenzie Phillips's shocking confession about her father revealed a twisted tale of abuse, drugs, and trauma that rocked Hollywood. The Phillips family history is full of dark chapters, from abuse allegations to drug and alcohol addiction. Mackenzie Phillips and China Phillips, who are both daughters of the Mamas and the Papas singer John Phillips, laughed about being labeled one of the most dysfunctional families in Hollywood. While speaking about their father, who died at the age of 65 in 2001, Mackenzie said John was something else, while China spoke about his dark side. Obviously, he's an amazing songwriter, and, I loved his laugh, and yet there was this whole other side to Dad that was, kind of like a monster, China said. He was so dark, and you just didn't know who you were going to get. It was very unpredictable. In addition to China, whose mother is Michelle Phillips, and Mackenzie, whose mother is Susan Stewart Adams, John shared son Jeffrey Phillips with Adams, and daughter Bijou Phillips, and son Tamerlane Phillips with Genevieve Waite. In her 2009 memoir, High on Arrival, Mackenzie alleged that at the age of 19, she woke up one night from a drug-induced blackout to find her father raping her. She claimed that she and John went on to have a 10-year consensual relationship. It didn't happen every day, it didn't happen every week, but it certainly happened, and it happened enough times, Mackenzie said during an ABC interview at the time. Mackenzie claimed that the relationship ended when she became pregnant. Fearing that the baby could be her father's, she had an abortion and never let him touch me again, she said. The revelation caused tension in the Phillips family. John's second wife, Michelle, publicly slammed the claims, telling Hollywood Reporter that Mackenzie had a lot of mental illness and had a needle stuck up her arm for 35 years. She added, Mackenzie is jealous of her siblings, who have accomplished a lot and did not become drug addicts. Mackenzie's sister, Bijou, released a statement noting that Mackenzie first told her about the alleged abuse when she was a teenager, but claimed Mackenzie later walked back the allegation. When I was 13, Mackenzie told me that she had a consensual sexual relationship with our father. This news was confusing and scary, as I lived alone with my father since I was 3. I didn't know what to believe, and it didn't help that shortly thereafter, Mackenzie told me it didn't happen. Bijou's statement read, I understand Mackenzie's need to come clean with a history she feels will help others, but it's devastating to have the world watch as we try to mend broken fences, especially when the man in question isn't here to defend himself. China, meanwhile, has stated that she believes Mackenzie's story. I do know that there was a consensual relationship between my father and sister, she said during a 2009 ABC appearance. I've known about that for 12 years, she said. Number 2, Gloria Grahame. The glamorous life of actress Gloria Grahame hid a scandal so dark it's hard to believe. Her relationship with her stepson, which started when he was just a teenager, shocked everyone. This twisted affair led to her downfall and remains one of the most unsettling stories in Hollywood's history. Gloria Grahame shot to stardom after appearing in the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life. Yet if her name isn't as well known today, maybe that's because this ingenue never got out of a happy holiday ending. Far from it. Just one day after officially divorcing her first husband, actor Stanley Clements, Grahame gave him a brutal insult. She picked up and married her new paramour, the notoriously difficult auteur director Nicholas Ray, who would later go on to direct 1955's Rebel Without a Cause. She was already a few months pregnant at the time. Scandalous, right? Well, that was nothing compared to what came later. Like Graham, Nicholas Ray had been married once before, and actually had a prepubescent son named Anthony with his first wife. Still, the new couple was hoping the second time would be the charm for both of them, so much so that they even took a risky step and tried to work together on a film, the 1950s noir In a Lonely Place. Yeah, big mistake. Even before filming began on In a Lonely Place, Graham's marriage started to unravel in the worst way. She and Ray were at each other's throats constantly at that point, and everybody involved in the project knew the director and his lead starlet/wife were on the outs. Apparently seeking out new ways to control his wife, Ray forced Graham to sign a disturbing contract with him. In it, she had to agree that, quote, "My husband shall be entitled to direct, control, advise, instruct, and even command my actions during the hours from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day except Sunday," end quote. She then further acknowledged in writing that, quote, "In every conceivable situation his will and judgment shall be considered superior to mine and shall prevail," end quote. All I can say is, yikes. But it honestly got creepier. As part of her indentured servitude to Ray on set, Graham also had to promise not to use her feminine wiles to needle Ray in any way, no matter what her problem was. Or as a creepy Hollywood stipulation number 500 stated, she couldn't nag, cajole, tease, or in any other feminine fashion seek to distract or influence him. Then it came to a hugely tense climax. After weeks of this display of utter dysfunction, Ray and Graham separated even while In a Lonely Place was still in production. Nonetheless, they tried to keep it hush-hush, and this got awkward. Terrified that one or both of them would get the boot from the movie if the truth got out, Ray started sleeping in a dressing room under the guise of working on the script, while Graham played along and acted like nothing was wrong. Well, they divorced soon after that. Thing is, as we'll see, this wasn't quite the end of the story. In fact, it wasn't even the only boy problems Graham was having at the time. Graham had an utterly scandalous life, but her most infamous moment was truly jaw-dropping. Although she went through a vicious divorce with her second husband, Nicholas Ray, most people don't know the real, awful reason behind their split. The actress and her husband-director didn't get along on the set of In a Lonely Place, sure, but it really all unraveled when Ray made a whopping deal-breaker of a discovery. You're going to want to sit down for this. Until the end of his life, Nicholas Ray claimed that one day he came home and found his wife Gloria Grahame in bed with his 13-year-old son, Anthony. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about the deal-breaker part, was I? Graham got with her teenage stepson. And if you think that's the end of it, well, read on. Somehow, this freaky Mrs. Robinson situation gets a whole lot weirder. Today, Graham's biographer claims she never slept with the young Anthony Ray, and that Nicholas Ray just made up the whole accusation to make himself look good, I guess. But then more damning evidence emerged. In 1958, 8 years after Nicholas supposedly caught them red-handed, Graham and Anthony got back in touch and started up a full-blown adult relationship. Double ew. How could this get worse? Well, 2 years after reconnecting, the dubious lovebirds made it official, tying the knot in a wedding ceremony in Tijuana, Mexico, a well-known destination for highly respectable, pre-planned unions, right? Well, by this point, even Gloria and Anthony knew they were doing something risky, and they actually kept the ceremony a secret for years, until, that is, the bottom dropped out. Graham and Anthony kept their forbidden love under wraps for as long as they possibly could, but the secret leaked out in 1962. The revelation, obviously, ignited a blaze of tabloid speculation and scandal-mongering, with widespread denouncements of the union. Regardless, it remained her longest marriage. They were together for 13 years. Still, the damage was done, and when the scandal broke, Graham's fading Hollywood star turned into total box office poison. Number 1, Woody Allen.
point, I would sacrifice movies. You know, because they've really...
There are controversial relationships, and then there's Woody Allen's relationship with Soon-Yi Previn. The director's marriage to the adopted daughter of his ex-partner, Mia Farrow, has haunted him for decades. Even now, the story is one of the most debated scandals in Hollywood history. Woody Allen married his third wife, Soon-Yi Previn, in 1997. The Blue Jasmine director was previously in a relationship with Mia Farrow, who adopted 6-year-old Soon-Yi in 1978, while she was married to Andre Previn. Farrow and Previn divorced in 1979, and Farrow began dating Allen shortly thereafter. At some point during their 12-year relationship, Allen began an affair with Soon-Yi, leading to the actor's breakup in the early 1990s. Since marrying, Allen and Soon-Yi have adopted 2 daughters together, Beckett and Manzi, who have joined them on red carpets like the Venice Film Festival in September of 2023. Soon-Yi became isolated from her mom and siblings after beginning her affair with Allen, who was accused of sexual abuse by his adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, in 1992. Allen denied the allegations, stating that Mia coerced Dylan into accusing him of abuse so she could gain custody of her in retribution for him having an affair with Soon-Yi. As for the family now, Allen shared during a press interview about his 2023 film, Coup de Chance, that he considers himself lucky. "I was lucky my whole life, really. I had 2 loving parents, and I have good friends, and I have a wonderful wife and marriage and 2 children," he said. From how their affair began to where they are today, here's everything to know about Woody Allen's controversial relationship with his wife Soon-Yi Previn. In Allen's autobiography, Apropos of Nothing, the filmmaker described how his relationship with Soon-Yi began when he took her to a game and realized he was enjoying their conversation more than I should have, he wrote. Cut to some time later, I'm shooting Husbands and Wives. Soon-Yi comes in from college and I screen The Seventh Seal, he wrote. Bergman's film ends, and we're alone in my screening room, and quite smoothly, if I do say so myself, I lean in and kiss her. He continued, she is complicit in the osculation, and to the point, as always, says, I was wondering when you were going to make a move. While Allen thought their relationship would be more of a fling, it quickly progressed. Soon-Yi and I thought we could have our little fling, keep it a secret since Soon-Yi wasn't living at home and I lived alone like a bachelor, he said in his autobiography. I thought it would be a nice experience and Soon-Yi would eventually meet some guy at college and enter a more conventional relationship. I didn't realize how attached to one another we'd already grown. In February 2021, Mia and Dylan participated in the HBO docuseries Allen v. Farrow, in which they shared their side of the story. In the show, Mia claimed that Allen's relationship with Soon-Yi started while she was in high school, while he disputed that it was after her first semester of college in December of 1991. Mia and her then-husband Andre Previn adopted Soon-Yi in 1978 from South Korea. In the docuseries, Mia claimed that she originally struggled to connect with Soon-Yi, who was adopted at an older age than her siblings, explaining that she had to work very hard over many years to build a bond with her. She added that she wanted Allen to have a relationship with her children too after they started dating in 1980, so she encouraged him to spend time with Soon-Yi. He took the little one shopping and bought them airplanes and magic tricks, she said in the show. He started bringing all of them to basketball games. I really encouraged him to go with Soon-Yi too, because she was really shy. Once she found out about the relationship, Mia said she blamed Allen for breaking her trust as a father. I love her so much, and I didn't even blame her, because she was just a little kid when he came into the family, she said in the second episode of Allen v. Farrow. She was a little girl. We were family, and he was in my home as my partner, and as such, he had responsibilities. You don't go and have sex with my children. That isn't part of the deal. Allen and Soon-Yi slammed the documentary after it was released, calling it a hatchet job riddled with falsehoods, and disputing the claims made in the series, including Dylan's accusations of abuse. Woody and Soon-Yi were approached less than 2 months ago and given only a matter of days to respond. Of course, they declined to do so, a spokesperson for the couple said in a statement provided to Deadline and other outlets. As has been known for decades, these allegations are categorically false. Multiple agencies investigated them at the time and found that, whatever Dylan Farrow may have been led to believe, absolutely no abuse had ever taken place. After Alan's 8-month-long affair with Soon-Yi was revealed in the media, he issued a statement that he was in love with her in a press release, per the New York Times. Regarding my love for Soon-Yi, it's real and happily all true, he said. She's a lovely, intelligent, sensitive woman who has and continues to turn around my life in a wonderfully positive way. Soon-Yi told Vulture in a September 2018 interview that seeing his statement was the first time she found out that he loved her, but still worried it wasn't true. I only knew that he loved me when he gave the press conference and said it publicly, she said. Even then, I wasn't sure if he meant it. We had never said those words to each other. Despite the attention on their affair and marriage, Soon-Yi has not left Alan's side since they first got together in 1992. She has been seen walking with him around their neighborhood in New York City and has joined him at various industry events throughout the years. Together, they enjoy eating breakfast together in the mornings and keeping their social circle small and tight. Soon-Yi told Vulture that the two had not spent a night apart since they got married. Thanks for watching. If these Hollywood scandals left you stunned, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more juicy content. And if you're hungry for more drama, check out our other videos linked here. See you in the next one.